We're here in the beautiful London at the World Blockchain Forum, and we meet a lot of interesting people. Shidan, could you please introduce yourself?
Thanks very much. Hi, I'm Shidan Gouran. I run an investment company that's focused on being an incubator. We're actually the first publicly listed investment company in North America, yeah, and actually the world. We were the first listed one, yeah, and we really focus on incubating projects, and we're actually looking to spin them out into their own entities, listed companies as well. So our first project was a mining company, which we spun out, and it's now the largest mining company in North America.
What's the name actually?
Global Blockchain Mining. So okay. Yeah,
it's very easy.
Yeah, yeah. That was very exciting, and right now we're working on a number of other divisions. We have an exchange division that's focused on opportunities in the exchange space. We have a media and entertainment division, which is really focused on that, an enterprise division, and those are the three other areas that we're really incubating. So for the exchange division, we're actually doing our own ICO in that. We forked Aetherium, and we've added features to it. We've added a masternode layer, which is really interesting, I think. It allows instant transactions, cross-chain transactions, and private transactions via CoinJoin. And it's highly scalable. You can do hundreds of thousands of transactions now on this platform.
So if you compare it to the regular exchanges like Binance, of course, or other exchanges, what is the difference? I mean,
so it's not an exchange. It's a cryptocurrency that allows cross-chain transactions. So we're actually building something very similar to 0x on it that has multiple assets. So you can, instead of just Ethereum tokens now, you can have Bitcoin, you can have Litecoin, you can have Monero, Steam, Vice Industry token, various ones that trade on it because of this feature. Yeah.
So the interoperability.
Yeah, it allows you to decentralize the custodianship of many assets, which is how it's completely different from a 0x or one of these other Ethereum dexes, essentially.
And so it's a decentralized exchange.
Yeah.
How is it actually regulated? Because that's always an issue with exchanges as well.
Yeah, so that I can't speak much on. I can say we are working on the first regulated crypto exchange that is aiming for a real institutional audience, and for them custodianship is a very big deal. So because of that, this decentralized framework is one component that makes it more comfortable for them. If you want to if you want to get a massive company like Goldman Sachs to trade on your platform, they're not going to do it until there is proper custodianship. You have a few things that are happening, like Lloyd's has insured a few things. Aon, the big insurance company, not the crypto, is getting into the space, and we're working with a major actor who will potentially be willing to insure this as well. That's what we're working on right now. The technology is actually all developed, and when we have that, we'll launch it. So that's one example of a project on Laser.
What's what's the reason to start it? I mean, do you see more institutional money coming in the space? You see opportunity to facilitate.
Money is dying to come into the space. They're very eager to enter it, but there is a real fear there because there is no checks and balances for them. If they lose something, they lose it. And until they solve that problem, they're not going to get into the space. The amount of liquidity that will come into the space when, all these companies have their own little OTC DEX today, as you know, right? But for them to really come on and trade this on behalf of clients and others and themselves in a proprietary fashion, they really need those checks and balances and that assurance that their funds are safe, their money is safe. So it
can be huge. I mean, this can be
massive. The liquidity it can bring to the market will just completely change everything. And if we really want the space to take off, we need that.
I mean, we got now like $200 billion in. So it can be
many trillions, I think. Yeah. And that's very realistic in the short run. I think in the next 18 months we definitely could see the space grow that big when institutional funds come in. People are very excited about these ETFs happening. I'm not really, because they mean nothing. But if you create an exchange with institutional clients, like payments, like actual applications. It's something that's very real, that brings real value to cryptocurrencies.
And how does the timeline look like? I mean, is it something that can be created in 3 to 4 months?
Yeah.
Have it online?
So for people that are following us, because a lot of people do follow us as a public company, this is what I'm talking about with Laser is not Singularity. We're also developing another exchange that it's right now based off of the Stellar platform, which we'll be launching very soon as well. That's part of our exchange division. This one, that's part of Laser. I think in the next 2 months we should have more news on it, and it's really the core reason why we've built Laser. There's other projects that we're doing with Laser. We at the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise meetup, we announced a peer-to-peer file storage solution that we've developed on Laser as well. We're going to be announcing partners for that soon, and that's a longer-term project, but we've set some footings there. But what we're really excited about, and the reason why we really built Laser, is for this exchange. And we thought about doing it on Ethereum, using a plasma chain or something like that, but we're like, you know what, we actually really see things differently than the current path is for Ethereum.
So you combine it with, for instance, the Dash protocol with masternoding.
Yeah. So I think I always thought the Dash protocol was really brilliant, and the idea of masternodes, like delegated proofs of stake, masternodes really work. They scale, but with the Dash model, you get the best of both worlds, I think, and that's what we're trying to bring to Laser. And I think when you add that to the Ethereum code base, I think it really greatly improves it. Another area that we're more serious about than the core Ethereum developer community is that WebAssembly should be the basis of smart contracts, not Solidity. So that's another change we're making as well. And I think they'll bring a lot more developers in. It'll make things a lot easier for them to do stuff.
It's going to be speedier development as well. I mean,
with WebAssembly, you're bringing the core web technologies to the smart contract platform. So you could build smart contracts in Rust. You could build smart contracts in all kinds of languages in a very, very secure sandbox, more secure than the Ethereum Foundation can develop, because.
Also with C++, like Stratus.
Exactly. So and you have this security of having had billions of dollars, thousands of developers from Google and Apple and everybody who've poured money into it. So I think at the end of the day that's the right way to go. There's no need to have this thing that's separate from the rest of the IT world when there's already a solution that works really well.
And what are the challenges you are facing actually? What are it's all great plans. And we see the potential, but what are the challenges?
I've been involved in many ICOs as a core advisor, early seed funder in the companies and whatnot. And
which ICOs?
Many of them. So I'm not going to name them all, but I'm here with Polymath. Actually, Trevor invited me to come here. So I've seen a lot of ICOs. I've worked on a lot, and there's many challenges now that didn't exist before. Namely, that we're in a massive bear market, and that golden age of raising, which we did on some projects, hundreds of millions of dollars, literally. Is gone. So now the main challenge is you're not dealing with a retail audience anymore. You're really dealing with a funds, friends. That's really who you're dealing with today, and there's different dynamics to it, obviously, and cash flow is very different than what it was a few years ago as far as burn rates and everything. You have to be very, very careful. So there's less funds going around, way more projects, a lot of dilution in messaging, right? All kinds of ICOs coming out that make no sense really. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like you have a great project like Metronome today that has a $10 million market cap, right? So that's the real challenge, is just really the market conditions.
It's far too low.
Which is why we're not doing a real ICO. We're doing a private raise right now. It's a private crowd sale essentially, and you're actually buying equity in a something that looks like a co-op, and a Cayman company that we've organized similar to a co-op. And to initially become part of the master node, the service node layer, you have to buy shares in this company.
Okay.
It's a very decentralized company, though, again, because of the co-op-like structure. And very soon we'll be switching out that over to on-chain voting to become a master node, right?
Cool.
So apart from that, we're just giving out the tokens. So all Ethereum and Ethereum Classic holders will get tokens. Ethereum Classic was a little bit disappointing for me. I mean, some of my really good friends are involved with it, and I didn't see applications being developed on it. I didn't really see it going where it should have gone. It's kind of become a hedge for Bitcoin, for Ethereum in a way, but
it's on Coinbase though.
Yeah, but no one's building anything on it, right? There's not one application even on it, right? So that has to change, and I that's another reason why we're giving this out to Ethereum and Ethereum Classic holders, because the Ethereum Classic, they didn't get the promise that they quite bought into, and Ethereum holders, this is a different vision of how things can progress, really.
Last question. Perhaps you can do how do you say? How do you see the market prices evolve? I mean, Bitcoin is now at, what is it, 7,300.
I think Bitcoin has a good future, but I think the other tokens are going to have a really hard time. So I completely don't believe in this space as a speculative area anymore. I think 90% of these tokens are going to disappear. But what I think is going to replace them is digital assets that are still tied to something that can't be forked and that has a real use. So if
assets,
Facebook, so like for example, if it doesn't even have to be assets, it can be a community currency. Take Facebook. If they came out with a community currency based on blockchain, totally open, maybe they control the issuance, but it was open distribution like Ripple, let's say, even, or Stellar.
They probably come with it.
They probably are. I'm positive they will be very soon. You can't fork that, because you can't fork Facebook treating that as legal tender for their, stickers or whatever, right? That's real, right? Another area is gaming. So the gaming industry, if a bunch of gaming companies came together and said, you know what, we're going to accept one game, one token, one exchange for all our in-game, assets, everything. You can't fork that, because you can't fork those games, right? And we've actually been working very hard on that. So our entertainment and media division, the most exciting project in that division is a gaming project where we have now we have two other partners. One of them,
Galaxy, yes.
Game Galaxy, that's right. Game Galaxy, we have two partners. One of them was involved in the Siren Labs sale, close friends of ours, and then the other one is a gaming company, which we'll be announcing shortly. We formed this organization, and now we have 9 other gaming companies who've agreed to sign up to use this in-game currency, this in-game gold essentially, for all their games. And together, these 10 companies, including our founding partner, have over 400 million users. So, and none of these are big gaming companies. They're not the EAs and Steams of the world, right? You can
independent.
Yeah. They're independent. So with 400 million users, this is a massive community. It's really, really massive. You can only imagine if EA and those guys decide to do this, back in the days, if UO had a token that was this free and open, it would be the Bitcoin of today, right? It'd be bigger, much bigger. You ask a 14-year-old kid, your average 14-year-old kid, if they trade in-game assets, probably they'll say yes, right? Very few of them will say that they do that with cryptocurrencies. That's the future, I think.
So games, and actually we need perhaps a game like Farmville or Candy Crush.
Absolutely.
As a dApp or...
Yeah, it's great.
CryptoKitties, but...
Yeah. There's a bunch of great companies in that space, so there is competition. Opskins did one, obviously, a year and a half ago, I think it was, that it started. I've bet on all of them. I like that space, period. The founder of Atari is coming out with a project, which is kind of cool, Nolan Bushnell. So there's a lot of good people that are working in this space, and the fact that we were able to get 400 million users, I think, just shows how powerful this space can be.
Last question, very interesting. What would you advise actually Dutch ICOs who are looking for investment or partnerships?
My recommendation is, those days are gone that you raise that kind of money based on a white paper. Build a real product, like the old days. When I started in this industry, The very first project I did, I risked my whole life savings to build a company. It ended up being quite successful, but you know, that's real business. That's you have to have some skin in the game. You can't just put up a website and raise money anymore. That cycle is finished.
What was the secret of success for you in your case?
Putting your head down, building a great product, you know, and then you know, getting along with people and selling it. That's essentially it. Like any other business, it's always been the same thing, right? And my recommendation is do that, but base the value of your business around a token. I mean, at the end of the day, when you know, 2011, 2012, when I was thinking of where the space can go, I wasn't thinking about people coming out with white papers and raising, you know, $50 million. I was thinking that they were going to build services and sell that service as a token, pre-sell it, and turn a network into a marketplace, essentially, right? And that vision is still very powerful. It is still going to be a multi-trillion-dollar space, but we have to deliver on the promises that we've made as an industry.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Great.
All the best
Yeah.
with all the projects. I mean, pretty impressive. Yes.